Hello everybody, what's up, what's going on, and welcome to the final episode in the series covering the All-Star break, and you're welcome to the Raptors in one. So without any further ado, let's get it. So guys, the final night being the All-Star game, and it always is entertaining. It's always, you got your theatrics, you got your showboating, you got your skills, you got your oohs, the ahs, everything to do. And of course, you have the chosen all-stars to entertain the masses. This time, the format wasn't any different. Just like for the past 2-3 years, it's been the same. Essentially, you had Team Durant, Team LeBron, and if you didn't get a chance to watch the televised draft of this of the All-Star break, then I suggest just YouTube it. So even before the All-Star game started, I was predicting Team LeBron's going to win this. And the reason why I thought Team LeBron was going to win was just because they had a good mix of talented individuals, skillful individuals, and size, and experience, and youth. I thought LeBron's team was, save a few players, most of the team was constructed well. And of course, we had our guy, Freddie VanVleet, in Team LeBron. I'm not even going to talk about the first 3 quarters, which, it was still interesting, but, we had our first 3 quarters. LeBron's team won the first one, so his charity organization got some money. The second quarter, I believe, Durant's team won, I believe the second quarter, Team LeBron won, so his charity got the money again. The third quarter, Team Durant won, and I was kind of like, I was expecting that. I could see that coming because, you gotta give a little bit to Durant's charitable organization as well. So I figured that was gonna happen, and surely enough, it did. Then I'm like, let's wait for the fourth quarter. That's the main quarter. Because guess what? Typically, in an all-star game, the first half, there's no defense, there's no real defense being played. Save a few players here and there, kind of like Giannis and, some other players, they might do some defense, but for the most part, it's like, hey, put on a show for these guys, I'm gonna do some lackluster defense, or like we call a Swiss cheese defense, so you can get through, and then if you're driving, just kind of do some fancy dunk, just to kind of get the crowd going, and if you're gonna pull up for a 3-pointer, I'll just kind of show that I'm really defending you, but really, it's like a warm-up shot for you. So, again, it's just more so to put on a show for the fans and, put some points on the board. You have these all-stars basically just competing and just having fun. That's what the first half is all about. Third quarter is where things start to kind of pick up. Right after your halftime, you had your halftime show, and I'm going to be talking about the halftime show after. But then, of course, you have your third quarter. Now things start to pick up a little bit. Now things are starting to get a little competitive, and that's when you start to really like watching these all-stars compete. That's when their competitive side comes out. And then you start to get an idea of who could possibly be running for the MVP and who could possibly get it. Surprise! It's daytime again, baby. I'm just kidding. It's actually just because of my superior editing skills that I'm able to turn what was once a dark background into almost daytime background. Okay, nope, I'm just kidding. I just didn't have enough time to complete this video previously, so now that I have some time, here I am, and I'm gonna finish up this all-star coverage essentially. So, getting back, of course, like I said, we were talking about the MVPs. We kind of get a sense of who could be an MVP or who's really trying to get that MVP for the All-Star game. Now, of course, I got to give a big shout out to Steph Curry. Because, yeah, that's right. If you've guessed it already, Steph Curry he was the MVP. And boy, did he put on a show. Oh yeah, this was a show for the ages. I mean, at almost the same level as MJ putting on a show and Kobe Bryant putting on a show when he won the MVP. Yeah, it was amazing. Like, he was jacking up threes from almost everywhere on the court. All he had to really do was jack up a half-court shot, which he probably could have made, and probably even from his own net, which he probably could have made. Sounds almost far-fetched, but it's not out of the realm for him. Having said that, Trae Young was guarding him at times, and it didn't matter. He was hitting logo three-point shots and getting it in like swishes, perfect swishes. And, he was hitting it from all over the three-point arc. It didn't matter. It was like layups. It was three-point shots are like layups for Steph, right? And there were times when, the defender was really right up in his grill, right up in his shooting space. It didn't matter. If it's going in, it's going in. Once he's locked in his target, it's locked in his crossfires, that ball's going in the net. All time, baby. All day. But of course, things started to slow down a little bit for him when it came to the fourth quarter. Now, you have to realize this. He was, and even when he was mic'd up, they showed it. He admitted, like, he was basically talking, like, what was the most points record in an All-Star game? And he was trying to beat it. If you guys don't know, it was set by Anthony Davis back in 2017 when he was with the Pelicans. And he had scored 52 points in the All-Star game in 2017. So that was pretty awesome. And he was trying to beat that. He was trying to beat that record. But of course, the way he was shooting and scoring and driving it in, it was the defenders, like I said, the second half, they started to take it a little personally. Now it's all about competition, right? And so they're competing, they're trying to defend him, they're trying to slow him down. And of course, you have to realize Steph Curry is not as young as he once used to be. Like, he could have, even 3 years ago, he probably could have beaten the record. And it's just, you have to realize now, with age and of course the amount of responsibility he has to, to score for his Golden State team, of course, it's gonna take a toll. And, he's definitely north of 30, and, in basketball years, that is coming up towards the end of your peak almost, right? But still, he put on a show. Like, it was amazing. He was showboating. He had his antics, celebrations after every shot, and, trash talking occasionally with the opponents. Like, he had it going on. But then come fourth quarter, they started to put the squeeze on him. Now they started double teaming him. At one point, I even saw like a triangle defense on him. So that's like 3 people defending him. So, of course, with him, you have to also realize sometimes how he gets his shots is he does do a lot of off-ball movement. In off-ball movement, you got to run around almost the whole half court. Quite a bit. Whether you're running through screens, trying to shed your opponent, it takes a lot of energy to do that. And for him to be able to shoot that 3 and make it at that consistency, considering how much he's moving off the ball at his age right now, that's pretty amazing. So, but you have to realize he is human, and it did catch up to him. He was starting to slow down a little bit. Defense was starting to crank up, of course. They didn't want him to get that record, and you can tell with the defensive pressure, and of course with him getting gassed, running around the court, you could tell like he didn't have enough legs under his shots. And so they were falling short, or he just couldn't get the ball because they were just defending him well off the ball. So, he couldn't get his 53 points. He couldn't. He was just 3 points away from beating the record. Although I believe he did beat the record for the most threes scored in an All-Star game. Hey, so at least that's something you got to be proud of. And of course, he was the MVP of the game. Now, of course, for the Cleveland fans, for LeBron fans, the way the game ended was a treat. Myself, I thought it was interesting, and it was pretty cool how it ended. You know, it was not to say that LeBron wasn't trying to get Steph that ball so that he could get that record, and of course, in the process, win the game. But it just couldn't happen. Like, they were double, triple teaming him off the ball. Like, they were preventing him from getting the ball. He couldn't get the ball. So, of course, LeBron was like, all right, you know what? I'm going to take it upon myself. ISO, I believe he had a shorter defender, which, gosh, I can't remember who was defending him, but he had a shorter defender on him. Of course, he just back him up, and then fadeaway jumper, and he nails it. He nails it. And they hit the record, and they hit the amount of points that they had to win the game. It was like King James is back in his hometown, and he pulls off this heroic win, and of course, he continues his 5-game All-Star winning record, where he never lost in this new format, and of course, his charitable organization also wins, right? So it was a win-win, but hey, Steph Curry took the MVP trophy, so hats off to Steph. Overall, it was an entertaining night, and definitely a redemption, considering how the last night went with the dunk-off. Oh boy, that was like the most disappointing way to end the night that most people look forward to. And that's all I got, folks. This is the end of the All-Star series, of the All-Star coverage. And before I forget, I forgot one of the main components, and this is going to irk a few of the fans, but that's okay. This is an opinionated piece. This is my opinion, but it's an opinion backed up by evidence. And if you don't believe me, you can check out the halftime segment of the All-Star game. So that night in the halftime show, it was an interesting format because, again, to honor the 75th NBA anniversary, they had the 75 legends that were selected to be basically the top 75 NBA players of all time. Of course, it started off with Charles Barkley, and then they went up the list, and, they introduced all the power forwards, the centers, the small forwards, excuse me, the guards, and the shooting guards. And, of course, when it was time for LeBron to be introduced, rightfully so and expected, Cleveland gave him a nice standing and gave him a nice ovation. And, of course, it's LeBron James, right? He is arguably one of the best players right now. And so, he gets on the podium, he's waiting and whatever. And then, of course, the final person to be introduced was, of course, your legendary Michael Jordan from the Chicago Bulls, number 23. And guess what? As soon as he appeared, they saved the best for the last, right? And as soon as he appeared, guess what? You had a standing ovation. It didn't matter if you were a Cleveland fan, New York fan, Indiana Pacers, Toronto Raptors. It didn't matter which team in the NBA you supported. Even if you did not like Michael Jordan, you couldn't help but respect the man. The way he changed the game, the way he made it so global, at a global scale. He was not just popular nationally in North America. He was, and even to this day, is popular in the world. I'm talking the world. If somebody had TV and watched sports at a remote area in the world, they got to see Jordan. They got to know him. Even if they don't know anybody else in the NBA, they know Jordan. And so, deservedly so. He got a standing ovation. And you know what? It was big for him to show up. Like, I get it. Typically the man doesn't show up for a lot of events, but he showed up for this one. And you know what? That put the age-old debate to rest. If anybody still wants to argue this, I am not going to argue with you. You are entitled to your opinions, to your, I hate to say this, delusional opinions, but I got my opinion backed up not just by stats, but by evidence. Michael Jordan is respected. He is a legend, and he is the GOAT. That's right. We're not talking about the animal GOAT. We're talking greatest of all time. And LeBron is not the greatest of all time. However, LeBron fans, don't get me wrong. If the roles had been reversed, if LeBron came before Michael Jordan did, there is a strong case for LeBron being the GOAT. Because the way LeBron has impacted the game, the way he has changed the game, especially at his position, it was unheard of until he came into the league. And so the way he changed it, the way he redefined the game, you could tell that this is definitely a generational player. You know, once in a lifetime kind of player. He is something special. Having said that, you could argue the same thing about Steph. Yes, that's right. Even Steph has changed the game. So much so that now, even up to now, the way the game has been changed, the way the teams have decided to construct their teams, they want more perimeter shooters. They want more perimeter defenders. You know, up until Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors started hitting it big, you had your typical, if you're a good shooting guard, everything's going through you. If you're a good, but most of the time it's like rebounds, power forward, center. Those were your center of attention. And ever since Steph Curry took place, ever since he started being successful with the Golden State Warriors, along with Klay, they redefined the game. They redefined the sport. They redefined the construct of rosters. So you could argue, guess what? Even Steph is a legend. I mean, he's not done yet. He's still playing. But you could argue between LeBron and Steph. Oh, man, I don't know. I don't know. But maybe you guys can tell me in the comment section. Especially if you like this content, hit up the comment section. Let me know. Who is the GOAT? Is it LeBron? Is it Michael Jordan? You know what? Actually, don't even bother with LeBron and Michael Jordan anymore. I have already established it. All-Star Game already established it. Stats already speak for themselves. Michael Jordan is the GOAT. But if the roles had been reversed, if LeBron and Steph had come before Michael Jordan, who would have been the GOAT between LeBron and Steph? Of course, if you like this content, hit the thumbs up button, and of course, check out more of my content. And in order to do that, hit the subscribe button. So until next time, guys, I'm out.